Oh, well, good evening out there. Well, the sun has slowly made its way down once again, and we can finally get comfortable, have a chat. My name is Eddie Booze, and this is Exit the Matrix. Good evening out there, guys. Thanks for joining us tonight. I really appreciate it. I'm with a fantastic guest today. One of my favorites, actually. But before we get into that, throughout my life, I have traversed my share of rabbit holes. And like many of you out there, I have seen and experienced some things that I simply cannot explain. I invite you all to consider that this world may not be exactly what we've been told it is, and that maybe, just maybe, we haven't even scratched the surface of the absolute truths that lie before us. That being said, let's get into today's episode. I would like to introduce my guest. Welcome back, Mr. Joel David Reed.
What's up?
It really does sound like, how old were you when you realized that that doing that kind of breathing thing sounds like an actual crowd?
I remember in Rookie of the Year, the character Henry did it, and I thought he was stupid for it.
Right?
And I remember thinking, and I was a kid then, and thinking, why is he going? That's what? And then I don't know. Yeah, it. I just remember.
The first time you did it, and you were like, wait, like I hear it. You're like, I hear them all. You know?
Yeah.
The thousands of people screaming and cheering. You know. Nah, yeah, I spent a lot of time at Angel games when I was a kid, and just like the roar of the crowd and things like that, like in those moments, like you could hear it. It's just kind of like an overwhelming static, you know, this noise, you know.
Yeah.
But no, that's a cool effect. Mr. Joel David Reed. Crowd's fucking going nuts. He comes out with his guitar. Starts playing Mary Had a Little Lamb.
Oh, yeah.
But the Stevie Ray Vaughan version of Mary Had a Little Lamb, which was awesome. So.
Actually, yeah, that is a really good version.
That was in From Dusk Till Dawn, actually. That was in that movie.
Oh, yeah.
Mary had a little lamb. Oh, yeah, that was a good one. All right, so today, let's get into what we were talking about. So today's kind of a continuation of sorts of our last episode, which was I turned that off, which was about cryptids, and we talked mainly about the Patterson Gimlin footage from Bigfoot from 1967, where the Bigfoot like crossing the river or whatever, you know. And we talked a lot about that. We went off on some tangents about some other things, but today I wanted to talk to Joel about some cryptids specifically that we've been fascinated with, or we would either like to be real, or we wish weren't real. Too much mounting evidence for some of them that probably good if they weren't. But yeah, so let's get into it, Joel. So give me your first one. What do you think? What would you like to know? What would you like to know for sure is out there? What would you like to be like? Damn, I'd like to know that cryptid is real. You know?
Probably werewolves, so I could become one. No, officially.
They might be, dog. I mean, we talked about that in the last episode a little bit with the stuff in Hungary. You know, so I mean,
all right, we gotta haul our gear to some dismal corner of the former Czech Republic and go vampire hunting.
Yeah, Eastern Europe is where you're gonna find that shit, dude. So okay, werewolves. All right.
Or
which cryptid? And I feel like werewolves. Would that fall into the cryptid category? Does that fall into Bigfoot? Does that fall into Nessie? Does that fall into fucking sea monster? Does that fall into that category?
Yeah, absolutely.
Do vampires fall into cryptids too?
Why not?
Because they're not animals, right? I mean, cryptids are like supposed to be like not fictional, but non-confirmable animals. Creatures. Yeah, because we wouldn't call them animals. We don't know if they're an animal or not.
Right.
You know? So,
unicorns definitely. I mean.
All right. So, okay. So I'll tell you about my two experiences with cryptids. Okay, so I have two very distinct experiences with cryptids. One of them I think I know what it might be, and one of them I have no fucking clue. One time, and I'll start with the one that I didn't see the clearest. Okay, so this one, I was driving home I was playing at a little speakeasy, one of those places called the Exhibition Room in Long Beach. And it's one of those places you have to like have a password to. You have to go inside a bar, go to the back of that bar, and there's a phone booth, and you hit the buzzer in the phone booth, and they open a little thing in the wall, and you tell them the password, and they open the phone booth.
Oh, wow.
And you go walk through into a whole 1920s speakeasy.
That's cool.
It's decorated like it's in the 1920s. It's badass. So I was playing there. I used to play music at restaurants and bars all over Southern California for years. And that was one of the places I played. I was heading home probably around 2 a.m. And I'm driving down Carson I'm in Long Beach. I'm driving down Carson going from like Orange Avenue towards like the Lakewood area, which is going east. So I'm the only one on the road. I mean, the only one. And I come across Paramount right there by Cal Bowl, and I start to make my way up towards the golf course, the Lakewood Country Club. Yeah. And I'm coming up to the Lakewood Country Club, and I'm the only one on the road. I'm driving down the road, and I see this thing, and it was like on fours, and it was like making its way across the road, but it looked like a person, right? Kind of, except it's well, okay, so it was kind of down, and then it got halfway across the street, like in front of me, like it was coming this way, like it was. I'm driving like this, and it starts coming like this to come across the road, but it's like 100 or 200 yards up still. Sure. Maybe 100 yards.
A football field or less?
No, way less than half. Okay. 50 yards. Okay. I would say remember I'm doing 50. You know what I mean? Like, I'm driving at it, so I'm getting close to it as it's crossing. Sure. You see what I'm saying? The closer the closer it gets to me, my lane, I'm getting close enough to it to see it. My headlights are on it, and the thing stands up on two fucking legs and runs across the street in the same direction it was going. It kind of just came halfway across the street on fours, and then it jumped up on two legs and started running on two legs across the street the rest of the way there were like some really heavy bushes that were kind of by the back of a parking lot. Once you approach Lakewood Country Club, there's a business on the right hand side and a parking lot. Yeah. And then there's the gate that separates into the country club. He either went in that parking lot. It either went in that parking lot or jumped the fence or went in the bushes and then like got over the fence somehow into the country club. I was so tripped out by what I had seen, and when it stood up, it looked like it was taller than a person. Yeesh. And it had lanky limbs, very lanky limbs. All four of its limbs were lanky, and it looked like, and I can't confirm this, but it looked kind of like its knees were inverted. It was a very strange, and I've looked for both of these experiences that I had with cryptids. I've looked on the internet to try and find examples of what I saw, and I couldn't until a few years ago. I saw a couple of videos where the thing that was in the video looked like what I saw at that Lakewood Country Club that night. In fact,
you remember the one right over by the Long Beach Town Center, right off of it's like Carson and Los Coyotes Diagonal, like right there.
That's Hartwell Park. You're talking about the park?
There's a golf course there.
That's Hartwell Golf Course.
Okay.
So before that, I mean, it's way. If you got off the 605 freeway and you're headed down Carson, you go past the town center, you go past that little golf course, and you keep going for about. It's about a mile and a half.
That one. Yeah,
it's the country club. It's about a mile and a half down.
Okay.
In fact, the very first thing I did when I got home that night was I went online and started looking up, and I started going decades back in the past, looking for anyone in the area that had ever seen anything that resembled what I saw. Any report. I started looking up reports of any creatures or things like that in the Lakewood area or the Lakewood Country Club area, and I couldn't find anything. I couldn't find anything. And I know people who like sneak into that country club late at night to fish in the pond, to fish in the lake they got there.
Yeah.
So that I've never had my buddy that guy tell me he saw anything there, but I was crossing the street that night and I saw something that was neither human nor an animal that I knew what it was. And here's the thing. Weird. I got up to it. It crossed right in front of my car. Not right in front. By the time I got to it, it was probably 10 yards away from me. It was close. Sure. Got to the side, and I was so confused about what I had just seen, I fucking turned around in the middle of Carson, which is totally illegal. Like, there's nowhere to turn around there, but I did it anyway. I turned around. There's nobody in the road, nobody around. And so I turn around, and I come back
which
to
is
where...
rare enough in that area.
And I come back to where I was, and I pulled my car kind of like blocking the lanes to point my headlights at where it went. I like slowly crept. And I knew I could see there were no cars coming in either direction, you know. But this is Long Beach, so like, I mean, give it a minute, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, so I pulled up like diagonally in the middle of the road. Say the road's like this, like I'm going up this way. I come back and turn around, and I pulled up like diagonally, like across to where my headlights were pointing to where he went to see if I could see any movement or anything. Nothing. It fucking tripped me out, dude. And I went home and I couldn't stop thinking about it because when you see something along those lines, it's hard to reconcile that with what you know to be true and what you know, and so you're just like, well, I don't know of any creatures that resemble that I know of. I've never even heard of a creature that resembles that type of a thing.
Right.
Do you see what I'm saying?
Oh, yeah.
So when you kind of get into that dichotomy of the unknown, uncertainty,
right?
You know, you just the only thing I could do was look, research, try and figure out what the hell matched what I was seeing.
Yeah,
what was it possible? What could it possibly have been? You know what I mean? Like, it was way taller than a person could have been. It was way taller than any person I've ever met. Yeah. And it was, like I said, it wasn't proportioned like a man. It had a head, it had a body, and it had 4 limbs. But it was taller, its torso was smaller, and its limbs were longer.
Yeah.
So, and the only thing I've seen, and I think what they're called, from what I've seen, are pale crawlers. Pale crawlers. Yeah. Look that up when you get a chance.
Yeah.
And that's kind of what the only thing that I've read about or seen that resembles what I remember seeing. And I've seen a couple of videos like that. One is a guy who's riding his bicycle through this like trail, and he's like on this, and it's got 2 walls, one on each side, like little brick walls, and like this thing kind of like runs and jumps down into the ditch where he's riding his bike, and like he almost hits it, or he hits it or something like that, and he keeps riding, he turns around, it like something like, but it's only a glancing experience with this thing before it's gone.
Right.
That looked like it to me. You know what I mean? And then I saw like 1 or 2 other ones within the last year or 2 that I was like, that's what I saw. Like, that fucking thing right there is what I saw. So I tried to look up that thing, and from what I found, what I could possibly find, it said that the name of it was a pale crawler. So
weird.
I'll be honest with you, bro. I don't fucking know. All I know is it wasn't a dude, and it was way taller than any animal. And what animals are running on 2 legs? What animals are running on 4 and 2? I mean, running on 4 and 2.
Yeah.
Efficiently. You know what I'm saying?
That's weird.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Yeah, it was very unsettling, dude. It was very unsettling, and you can imagine why it stuck with me.
Oh yeah.
Do you see what I'm saying? Like there was a, visceral memory to what had happened in that moment.
Yeah.
All right, so this I know, and I don't know, guys. If any of you out there who have seen anything like this, I would love for you guys to chime in because I'm confused. I'm really confused. I don't know what the hell I saw. I have no clue, actually. And it's in that area, that Southern California area that's super populated. Like, how are other people not seeing it? If I can't be the only person that's ever seen this thing, there's no way in hell that I am the only person that's ever seen this thing. No fucking way. Yeah. It was huge. It was weird. It was like, it was not, and there's, unless it was legitimately on its way through the area in the middle of the night, moving fast enough for nobody to catch it and see it. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying?
And didn't stay put.
Yeah. And it's gone. And it not from this area, but it was just moving from one spot to another. You know what I'm saying? Maybe. But dude,
then
like I'm saying,
how come no one in Fullerton said they saw it?
Bro, how come no one at all is seeing this thing? How come there's no reports of what I saw? I didn't imagine. I'm telling you, I did not imagine this.
I believe you.
I smoke pot, but I did not imagine this, okay? It's crazy. I don't know. All right. Moving on to the second cryptid experience that I've had, okay? The second cryptid experience that I had was just as strange, except this time it actually scared the shit out of me. I was driving over a mountain pass in the middle of the night. I was in a small car. It was a car my family owned. I flew out to northeastern Oregon to visit my family. My family owns a ranch out there, and a hay ranch. They used to own a hay ranch. They sold that, and then they bought a smaller place. And but anyway, I was on my way back to my family's house. I had gone over 12 miles over the mountain to another valley to hang out with some friends that I had over in that valley that I made after my parents moved into that area. So I'm on my way back. It's probably about 12:30, 1 o'clock in the morning. Not too late, but also, it's 12:30, 1 o'clock in the morning. You know what I'm saying?
It's the right time for these things to happen.
Dude, I get to the summit, right? On my way back, I'm up this windy mountain road. I get up there, and I hit the top of this summit, and there's a part of it when you're driving, if you come up this long curve, and you come back up this long curve, is like a switchback, and then you come up to the very top of this thing, and you turn, and you're like in between these two big, huge rocks. It's almost like you're in a canyon at the top of the mountain for a minute, and then you kind of turn around and you come out of that, and you go down into a little ditch, like just a depression, and you come up onto this little ridge over this hill. Yeah. I dip down into this dip. I turn the corner. I'd sit, it's middle of the fucking night. Yeah. You know what I mean? I got my brights on, I turn the corner. I go over this thing. I dip down in the ditch. I crest this hill. And as I crest this hill, I slam on my brakes. I come face to face with, and I'm talking from me to you. Yeah. From me to you. I'm sitting there, and my car is stopped, and there is a bird man standing in front of my car. There was a bird-like creature that was easily as tall as the car I was in, or taller. It was gnarly, bro. I looked at this thing. I'm sitting there in my car. I come to a screeching halt. Literally, it had some sort of roadkill on the ground in front of me. Like it had something in it, like in its claws. It was like a fox or a rabbit or some shit like that, right? Yeah. It looks up at me, like it was kind of startled too. Like you could see that I had interrupted it. You know what I'm saying? And it does one of these, bro. It looks at me for a second and does this. It kind of crouches down and leaps off the side of the mountain. Its wings, I didn't even realize that it was like a bird, and it was capable of flight until this moment. it fucking takes a fucking leap off the side of the mountain, spreads wings that are bigger than I've ever seen on an animal, and fucking like, woof, woof. But when it did its first flap, like it started going down. Like that's how heavy this thing was.
Damn.
Like it wasn't like he leapt into flight and took off. Like it leapt off the mountain and took a couple like woof before it was able to like
lift.
Yes.
Wild.
Yes, bro. And I didn't see it get lift, but in its, I could tell in its trajectory that these, you know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah.
I could see it kind of come down and start to come back up, but I didn't really see it from there because my headlights were pointed this way. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It leaps off the side of the fucking mountain. Best I got is moonlight. You know what I mean? Best I got is moonlight, you know, in this moment, you know? And, dude, that scared the shit out of me. The moment it started flying, I fucking peeled out of there, bro. I thought I was going to land on top of my car and fucking, dude, and I thought it was coming for me, dog. Like, legit.
I was about to say, well, how big was the thing it was eating? That would have been a gauge of its size.
Out of there as fast as I could, dog. And I didn't, and here's the crazy part about this one. I can't give you any, like, facial details. I can't say if it had a beak. I was looking at something I had never seen before, and my brain could not make heads or tails of it. When I got home, I told my brother, he was still awake. I told my brother, what the fuck did I just see out there on the road? And he goes, oh, dude, you just saw an owl. And I go, owls get that big? He goes, yeah, bro, they get fucking huge, dude. And I just took him for his word. I literally just took him for his word. I was like, all right, man.
They get that big?
Dog.
That was not no fucking owl.
Years later, I look up, I tell somebody this story, right? And I'm like, oh, my brother just said it was an owl. And they're like, owls do not get that big. And I was like, what? And then he's like, nah, dude, no, owls get like 3 feet tall, maybe. I was like, really? He was like, yeah, at the most. And I was like, oh shit. So I went and looked it up, and sure enough, he was right. Owls do not get
the biggest
5 feet tall.
No.
With a 12-foot wingspan. Like, no, that's not a thing. Like,
you found like the last condor in the world.
Dude, it was gigantic. But so check this out. So so where this happened was called Hell's Canyon, Oregon. It was on the 86 in between Richland and Halfway, and it was just off the Snake River, which is the border between Idaho and Oregon. Okay? And again, for years I heard nothing about anything like that in that area, and I fucking looked. Couldn't find anything like that in that area, but for years, I kind of looked because like I told you, that was a weird one that I came face to face with. I looked at it looked at me, and I still can't tell you what it looked like.
That's how you know it was a cryptid. See, this is what I was saying with Bigfoot. It's out of focus. Even your eyes, dude.
Bro, it was some sort of bird-like man or creature that was capable of flight, and yes, it had feathers. It wasn't like scaly.
It wasn't leathery.
It wasn't
wings.
a dragon. No, it was a bird. It was a fucking bird. There were feathers on it. I can tell you that much. I cannot tell you if it had a beak. That's the one thing I can't tell you if it had a beak. I cannot tell you if it had a beak. I cannot tell you that. I don't remember. I just remember that it was a bird-like thing that took the fuck off. It leapt off the side of the mountain. It took 2 or 3 giant whooshes with its wings and was gone. That was it. That was my second experience with an unknown creature that I cannot tell you what it was or what I experienced in that moment. Also, but here's the thing:
anatomically, it makes no sense that it would go. If it was a bird, a real bird. Birds' bones, if you don't know,
are so light and brittle.
Well, it's not that they're light and brittle. We have marrow inside our bones. Birds don't. They're hollow, so that's why they're so much lighter. Clearly, it doesn't even if it was a big ass bird. I mean, even if it was a bird big enough for this room, theoretically speaking, if it launches itself, it won't dip that way because of its bones don't have the same density.
Right. And I'm telling you, this thing didn't just like spread its wings and lift off. Do you see what I'm saying?
It put some energy
it
into
took a leap off the side of the
yeah.
mountain. It needed space. And in my estimation and my calculations of what I saw, it needed space to move and down before it could go up. It literally needed to gain some sort of like momentum.
It needed a running start kind of
thing. It needed like momentum to get up. So like that first whoosh didn't take it up into the sky. I saw it spread its wings and come down with those wings, and it was still moving down. But I could tell that it was like in this type of motion.
You ran into Hawkman.
In a swooping, bro, it was the craziest thing. It was insane, dude. I was maybe 30, 31, something like that, around that age. You know, it's not, dude, this, bro, I'm telling you, dude, it was one of the craziest experiences I've ever had, dude. No, I was older than that. I was like 35.
Okay.
I was like 35. It was about 10 years ago. And man, I'm telling you, and then a little while later, I ran into I look for what I see. If I see something I can't explain, I try and look for it. I'll give you another example. Right. Green lightning. I was in Oklahoma, and there was a storm, and I saw green lightning going from cloud to cloud. It was the craziest thing. It wasn't touching down. And I'm thinking to myself, I've never seen this. This is crazy, right? But I didn't think anything of it, right? But then I went on YouTube and looked for it later on. I couldn't find any examples of what I saw that night. Never. I've never been able to see what I saw that night on any video on YouTube ever.
I grew up in Texas. I know I've seen that before.
Bro, it was the craziest thing, dude. But I'm telling you, most of the things I see or you hear of or you see, you can look up and there's some explanation for it online or somebody else that's experienced it or seen that thing.
Right.
Very rarely do you come across something that the whole internet is blind to, and you have there's no reference to it other than what you saw with your own eyes. Do you see what I'm saying?
Yeah, no, that's a scary feeling.
So I had 3 of those experiences including the lightning, but those other 2 cryptid ones, Pale Walker closest thing could be the first one I saw. The second one, the bird thing, no clue. However, one guy had a similar story to the bird thing, and it was the same area.
Ooh.
It was in Idaho. The guy was a motorcycle rider in Idaho. He claimed that he went out, got drunk one night, and took his motorcycle out into the woods in this place that he normally likes to go and look up at the stars, and he passed out. He woke up. It was about coming up to dawn. And he said the guy got up, and he said the guy started walking back to his bike, heard like a whooshing behind him, turned around and saw this bird-like man flying right at him, right? And as soon as the bird saw that he saw him, took off the other direction.
He was almost dinner.
My point. I mean, maybe. My point is that is the only reference to anything like that, other than like Mothman, that I've ever heard of in my life. To a flying man, to like a bird man, or something along those lines, you know. And that's really, for lack of a better term, that's all I can call it, is a bird man.
Yeah.
Because that's what it was. It was like a fucking man that was a bird, dude. I mean, I can't get any more
bird person.
It was dude. No bird people, bro. I'm fucking telling you, dude. I was like, and it was scary enough for me to, like I said, on the way home from there, I still had to drive down the mountain. So I probably had another 5-6 miles to go before I got to my parents' farm. So I was legitimately tripping. And I was driving fast, bro, to try and get around these corners and get down that mountain as fast as I could. Because I did not want to, again, that scared me.
Yeah.
That particular instance legitimately scared me, dude. And I'm driving down that mountain pretty much as fast as I can go, much faster than was safe going around those turns, driving down a windy mountain road, in the middle of nowhere. And some of these turns, I'm telling you, dog, like, are like 15-mile-an-hour turn that I have a sheer drop off, like on the next side. Like you're
just Tokyo drifting down this mountain.
I was gone.
You're
dog.
just like, peace
gone,
out.
Dude.
Oh God.
I was just hitting those things like it wasn't even like they weren't even there, dude. Like, not kidding, dude. Not kidding. I was driving fast, bro. I was not. Yeah, I was legitimately worried that thing was coming for me, bro. I mean, like, there was a few moments on that drive where I was like, fuck, I hope this thing doesn't land on top of my car, dude. I have to fight this thing in the middle of the night, dude. Fight for my life against some cryptid I've never fucking seen or heard of before. Like, I don't even got a reference because this thing ain't Bigfoot. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, not like you're going to fight. I mean, how are you going to fight against Bigfoot? But
okay, that feeling right there. That's the feeling I want my players and other party members to feel when we're playing D&D. I don't want everyone to be like, "Oh, well, I know that's 200. That's page 266 in the monster manual. That's just a blah 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 blah." Like, no, man. Like, put yourself in the mindset of I've never seen this before.
Joel,
that's scary. That's a scary thought.
Yes, yeah, it is. It absolutely is, dude. And I'm telling you, wow, D&D, really? I mean, I thought I was like,
I'm not trying, dude. That is coming from the heart.
Kidding? I'm just fucking with you, Joel. I'm just kidding. No, I'm just kidding. No, but you're good, dude. Like,
no, but yeah, no, that primal fear of
it was crazy.
Something absolutely unknown.
Yes, I mean, and that's what you have to understand is like the fear doesn't come from like necessarily like, oh, I do think this thing's gonna land on top of my car, but the fear was like, what is it? Like, I don't know what this is. Like, I've never seen this before.
A bear,
and
you're afraid of because you know what a bear can do.
And I knew, and even knowing I was in a car, I was like, well, if this thing is capable of flight, like, that's crazy. Like, and I don't know, I mean, if it's that large and is capable of flight, like, how fast can it fly? Like, what else can it do?
Yeah.
I mean, so all I'm saying is I've had two extremely strange experiences with cryptids. This episode turned into a full-on analysis of my two cryptid experiences, but that's okay. Next time we have an episode, we will talk about the cryptids we were supposed to talk about. But man, I'm telling you, man, go home. We're gonna do a couple more episodes tomorrow.
Some pale crawlers,
pale crawler, and Birdman. Dude, see if you can find somebody tell me what the fuck this bird dude was.
The evil mountain birdman.
That's a cool name, I gotta say. The Evil Mountain Birdman.
We're gonna figure it out. We're gonna get to the bottom of this. You need to call it Mystery Inc.
I love it, Joel. I love it. But before we go, I would like to ask you if you have had any experiences with unknown creature in your life.
Oh, me? I thought you meant you, the audience.
No, you. Yes, you, for sure.
Oh, yeah, I'm like, yeah, tell us your story.
I want to know for sure what you guys have seen, for sure. Put that in the comments. We want to read that. And I personally do read all these comments, too, because I put these questions out there for specific reasons. Like, I actually do want to know. Like, our very first episode, I talked about the GATE program and missing persons connected to the GATE program. And I want to know. I want to know if you guys know somebody who ever went missing in the GATE program. I want to know if you've ever seen one of these cryptids before. I'm talking about one of mine. The things I've seen, the things that anything. If you've seen anything out there that's unexplainable, if you've seen anything out there that you just cannot say that was this or this was that, yeah, we want to know. So sound off out there in the comment section. We love you guys. Joel, for you, have you ever seen or come across a creature that you cannot explain what it was?
I'm trying to think. Now,
and that's okay. You don't have to have had those experiences.
So I have most definitely had those. Something just ran across the road, and I don't know what it was.
Right.
Because I do recall, and my friend, my boy Nathan was in the car with me, and I think another friend of ours was in the car in the passenger seat behind us. But I remember seeing, and the only way this makes sense, imagine if Michael Jordan was wearing an all-black sweatsuit, but just that tall, lean build. But the thing that freaked me out was it was someone walking, and they were on the, and here in America we drive on the right side of the road. So there's the lane divider, and they're on the left. And I see this thing walking slowly, and then when it comes to the middle, it just like
gone.
Just ran across the street. I could see the limb movement.
It went fast, just fast.
But I saw it, and before,
when I said gone, I meant like ran fast.
Yeah,
gone.
just
took off.
And then was across the street and just kept walking. But it was one of those things of like, one, it was such an unnatural
movement
an unnatural movement for something that tall, because it didn't like, okay, you know how when you're running, you kind of lean into it.
Yeah.
Stayed
like,
and had these really lanky, like Kermit the Frog kind of flailing limb movement thing. And the reason, and at first I wasn't going to say anything because I just assumed maybe I'm crazy, okay? But my friend Nathan was like, what was that? And I'm like, you saw that too? And he's like, yeah. I'm like, and then we're all looking out the window. No, I don't know, but it was just a very unnatural movement.
Sure.
And also just...
Sure.
It was just... And this is Southern California. You don't just teleport across 4 lanes.
Right. So, all right, I feel you. So, So you and Nathan, was there anybody else in the car? Were you in the back seat, front seat?
Well, I was driving. He was in the front seat.
Oh, you were driving.
And I want to
to
say his girlfriend, one of them at the time, was in my back seat.
Interesting.
And this would have been kind of around Cal State Fullerton area.
Okay. I was just going to ask exactly where. So Cal State Fullerton area, about what year?
2000, must have been 8 or 9.
Okay. So 2008 or so, right around the time of the market crash. Oh,
but it was really a weird. That was definitely because it was just seemed a little too tall.
I'm sure,
and way too fast.
Listen, dude. Anytime you see something that is unfamiliar to your senses
or uncanny, yeah,
there's all kinds of questions that run through your head, and a lot of them aren't a lot of the thoughts and things that run through your head in those moments can't be verbalized.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like, because it's kind of like a weird experience.
Right.
But yeah, I know that, that feeling,
Mm-hmm.
when the unknown has happened,
it creates a timestamp on your memories.
Yeah. And when things, reality will kind of seem to shift
mm-hmm.
for moments, you know what I mean? And it just kind of feels surreal.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a thing, dude. That's a thing. And, I'm not going to say that those are the times that we see these things, but sometimes the strangest things in life happen in those moments. You notice that?
Yeah. I just remembered another one.
Well,
not quite a cryptid creature, but something right along the lines.
Sure. Go ahead and share.
So I was living in Santa Ana with an ex of mine, and one night, and it wasn't, I say lady, but not lady, like a younger person, like someone my age, kind of appears just in the neighborhood. Santa Ana, people kind of, sometimes there's transient people there, but this isn't
Joel
the case.
saw a bum and he was like, "Dog, this motherfucker was scary."
It was specifically how well kept the person was, and what they
he goes, "This bum was so well dressed, bro. I didn't know what to make of this guy or this girl."
But like, I don't know. Have you ever heard of like the black-eyed children?
Of course.
Okay. The reason why I bring this up
was the black-eyed bum.
No.
Of Newport Beach.
The reason why I bring this up. No, the reason why I bring this up is I know I was out there. I know that I spoke with
the bum,
them.
The black-eyed bum of
I
Newport
spoke
Beach.
with her, and my ex's father spoke with her. and I remember certain things in sequence, but I cannot remember. Here's the problem.
Let me tell you something. I can tell you why the bum's eyes were black, okay? Because they had done way too much meth. All right, and
just so dilated, dilated that their iris was out here, and all their pupil was the only thing visible through their lids.
That's what you were looking at right there, dude. You were looking at a severe case of methany, bro. Fucking. Yeah.
But, well, it wasn't. It was just the things.
Did she try and clean your house?
No, it was. It was just asking for weird things.
That's fucking. It's another
all right,
sign.
maybe
that's another sign.
All right. Maybe I was just dealing with a crackhead. It was Santa Ana, California. All right, let's consider where we're at for a second.
That's comedy.
But honestly, like I don't know. I've.
No, you're right. Sometimes people are so strange, and that you walk away thinking, was that actually a person?
No,
was that some sort of reptilian? Which is another thing Bridget and I talked about.
Ooh, I'd love to talk about some reptilianoids.
Dude, let's go. But so there are instances where people are just so fucking weird that they aren't human. They literally, and I'll just say this. There's been many times that I've seen Mark Zuckerberg on camera, and he has literally fucking looked so strange.
He looks like an outdated Terminator.
Does not look human at all. You know what I'm saying? Like, I mean, it looked like he was about to blink sideways, dude. Fucking.
Yeah.
I mean, like.
There are times.
Shit was crazy, dude. But, like. And that's just one example, and I'm not kidding about that. He literally looks like either a robot or a non-human entity. Sometimes it's fucking weird. I don't know what to make of that. Or
the really uncanny part is he when he's like streaming and look, I can be a normal person. He's showing off that he can do normal people things like normal people, and it's one of those things of like, okay. But how come when you do it, it doesn't seem normal? And it really comes across as this is what normal people do.
Ain't normal, bro. Like, yeah,
it comes across as an act of what, like, yes, this is what normal humans do, right?
Exactly. Yeah, but dude, like, I feel you. Sometimes you run across people who are just so strange that they almost can't be real.
Here's the weird part, though. My memory. I can remember it. I remember the conversation.
But a lot of it is unclear.
No, here's the problem. I can't remember, like, when I'm looking at you, I can remember looking at you and talking to you. I can remember all the details. Sure. I remember hearing her voice. I remember talking to her, but the POV memory I have is sitting on the couch, looking towards the unignited fireplace.
Interesting.
And I have no visual memory of when the conversation happened. I have a visual memory of what she looked like.
Let me ask you this.
That's the part is I don't remember the conversation in the setting that the conversation would have normally taken place because we never let her inside.
Yeah, I was just going to ask you, like, why did you let the bum in?
We never
sit
did.
At your fucking fireplace and hang out.
That's the fucking problem is I remember them inside. I remember their body, and I remember never looking at their face while we're talking. But she never came inside, and that part of
but that's what you remember.
That's the part that's
very
weird.
Interesting.
Is like I remember.
That is unnerving. Actually, that's probably the most unnerving part about your story.
You see these goosebumps, my man? Yeah. You see my hair standing up? Yeah, no. It's not. It wasn't the fact. It wasn't anything she did that was unsettling. It's the fact that I literally feel like I have a distorted memory.
No, dude, I told you that the same thing about the bird thing, dude. Like, I can't remember its face. You know what I mean?
And it wasn't until you said, like, yeah, something's off or the surroundings are off. And like, oh, yeah.
It's reality shifts. That's what it happens. Reality shifts. It feels like it shifts. It feels like sometimes in these moments that, like, it's so surreal that you're not living in a moment of any coherence or coalescence. Okay,
what it feels like. sorry, is like
No, that's fine.
is like if I'm a computer and someone's remote accessing things and trying to delete something as
As
I'm
you're
trying to
watching
click
it, as you're looking at it.
and that's the part, like I've been hacked, like my brain was hacked. That's the part that's weird.
Yeah, I noticed. I've had those moments before. I've experienced those moments before, when something's happening and all of a sudden it literally feels like, I'll be completely honest with you. If you want to get into it, we'll get into it on another episode here. We're about to end this one, but I will say that I feel like that's when there's some sort of Mandela effect happening. There's some sort of shift that happens, and there's like a reset or something is happening, and not everyone gets the update. However, Joel, I will also tell you that I think there's way too many NPCs out there. I think there is not enough souls. I don't think there's enough souls to fit into as many bodies as there are anymore. What I mean by that is, like, I feel like there's a finite amount of souls, and I feel like we've created vessels faster, more vessels than can inhabit souls, and that's why we're seeing so many NPCs who don't give a shit about the value of human life, that don't give a shit about the value of life itself, that don't really that can only repeat the same 5 sentences they hear on their whatever chosen news source it is, that don't have the capacity for critical thought, or to analyze and parse raw data, or to actually like enter into civil discourse or consider things that they don't already know. Like, what I'm saying is that there's so many people in this world. I don't believe that all of them actually have souls.
You think the pre-incarnate energy, the pre-incarnate well has ran dry?
I was looking at Instagram last night and I came across a one of those, little things that talks about a murder or whatever, and it talked about how this guy had targeted 6 people over a 2-year period and left them 4 of their victims were found near this trail. Okay, now it was a racially motivated crime. There was a black man who admitted that he killed these people because they were white over a 2-year period. And in the comments, when I was looking in the comments, there were a lot of people who were saying that this guy was their hero, and that they were super supportive of this guy, and they wanted to free him now. And he's a serial killer. It's not like he was like breaking up a fight and ended up, what I'm saying? It was literally a murder. It was violence for violence sake, for racial violence sake, and
for hate.
And I can't remember what this dude's name was, but it was the something trail murders, they called him, or whatever, because that's where 4 of his 6 victims were found in this area around this trail. But my point is that when you have that kind of consciousness, I don't think that there's a soul behind it. You know what I'm saying? I'm giving you an example of why I think there's soulless people out there. You see what I'm saying? And just examples of what make me think that. You know what I'm saying? And I'm not saying it's all. I'm not. And listen, when I say that, this is not all racial. That's just that one little example. My point is just, it was the first thing I could think of that I saw that, like, okay, like, and obvious.
But you have people going along with it.
Correct. That's the point. The point is the comment section. That's the point.
Chamber.
Yes. The point is exactly. The point is the comment section of the people who don't have a respect for human life, who are depraved,
who are propagating the depravity.
Correct. Exactly. And that's. That to me is crazy, and that to me signals that there's a lack of a spiritual component there. Do you see what I'm saying? That the vessel is intact.
For sure.
Do you know what I'm saying? That the vessel is intact, and that there's some sort of consciousness there, but there's no conscience there. Do you see what I'm saying? There's no soul. There's nothing behind it. You know. And let me be clear for all the people who want to jump in my shit. Anybody of any race, religion, or creed can actually have those
traits.
Yes, of course. So it's not reserved for one person or the other on any side.
You're talking about actions, not individuals.
Bingo. Yeah, exactly.
No, I get and
not even actions, just really just
the motivation behind the actions.
And even just like your actual thoughts and your actual outward, that type of thing to me screams that lack, that I was mentioning earlier. So, to me, I think there's this story I heard, and I can't remember where I heard it, but there's like a tree of souls, right?
Yeah.
And the tree of souls is replenished when somebody passes. The soul goes back to this tree and is,
right.
It comes back to fruit and bears fruit, and then it's, somebody lives with that soul again. That's what that's what this tree of souls story says, right? But there's only a finite amount of these. You know what I'm saying? So. That's why when you walk around and when you see, look at social media and you see all these things, and dude, I'll be honest with you, dude, half those things are probably bots.
Oh yeah.
Half those things are probably fucking rage bait bots anyway.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But when you see that kind of discourse and that shit on social media and stuff like that, it doesn't instill a lot of confidence in you and your fellow man.
Is that not, even if it is just a bot, does that not constitute as a soulless interaction?
Being. Yep, a soulless interaction. Yeah, exactly. It's the same exact thing as if it were a person without a soul. Do you see what I'm saying?
Exactly.
It's literally the exact same thing.
Because it's doing the same amount of damage.
Correct.
It's causing the echo chamber. It's putting that negative energy out.
Right.
And it's like, and yeah, as far as voices on the internet, oh my God, yeah, the soulless to the max because one, there's no guarantee that is even a sentient human being, and two, even if it was a sentient human being. Well, now let's define sentient. It's one of the.
Hey, that's solid.
It's So the outcome is
good observation, Joel. Very good observation. Yes, absolutely. And maybe we should do an episode on this. Maybe we should really look into souls.
I would
the
love
tree
to,
of souls.
Because here, one spoiler I would say towards that. Personally, when you look at most faith-based. Belief systems, at least let's just take the Abrahamic belief system there, for example.
So the three major Abrahamic religions are Christianity, Judaism, and Islam.
There's a age of accountability with those. I don't think you get a soul till you're 8. Truly. I don't think
I disagree with that, and I'll tell you why. Because we can
get into this.
Because I can remember as a really young child having distinct and strong emotional connections to God.
Yeah.
As a youngster, because even being told.
It was instilled in you and honed.
Wrong.
No, but okay.
Wrong. In fact, 100% incorrect. And I'll tell you, because it wasn't a person that told me God was real. It was nature that told me God was real. It was when I looked up into the trees. It was one of the very first memories. This is one of the very first, conscious memories I can remember having. And I was too young to think this logically. But this was what went through my head. I looked up at the trees. I looked up at everything and I said, God is obviously real. There's no way that this was an accident, and that was it. That was my
and I'm right there with you.
But it wasn't. My point is that I didn't have somebody browbeat it into me.
Right.
I mean, after that point, I was taken to church. My family did go to church. My grandmother was an organist in the Christian church, and I went and I still go to church now. I love my church. I love my pastors. But yes.
And I'll go right. I will agree with that.
But I have my own personal relationship and journey that I have gone through to get to where I am, because I wasn't even in the church for 20 years. I didn't even go to church for 20 years. I didn't at all. I was a. You know what? I'm a sinner. I'm not perfect.
And that's fine.
I try to be as good as I try to be a better man every day.
And that's good. But
I have my
do.
vices, and I'm trying to get better.
Yeah.
I'm trying to be better.
And
But
I
I'm
am
not
too,
perfect.
for the record.
And
But-
because and so hey, I'm a flawed man. I'm not gonna but I am a Christian. I do believe in God.
No, same.
I believe He died for my sins. I believe Jesus Christ is King. And
where I'm going,
Yeah,
where I'm going with this is specifically though, one specific thing, and because yes, I am a man of faith.
sure,
I
know. Yeah, I know you. I know you love and believe in Jesus.
Where I'm getting at is sociopathic behavior is a child's first nature. My mom actually is like maybe a unit away from a master's in early childhood development. We learn empathy, we learn tolerance, we learn patience and all that from our peers by being realizing what is and isn't acceptable behavior. So fun fact. I was talking about this one of my first fights in school was in kindergarten. One of the kids had been held back a couple years, and he was still in the kindergarten class, and he was a head taller than everyone else and was pretty aggressive with everyone. And my grandma told me to whoop him, and I whooped him, and that's how it was. Well, anyways, later on down the line, a friend of mine with an actual degree in psychology went on to say, actually, that's probably a really good thing you did. What do you mean? Why is that a good thing that a child beats up another child? It's like, well, here's the thing is, no other child could teach that child that what he was doing was unacceptable. And that sociopathic behavior would have continued until another peer could teach him. And you had to get to him on the level that he needed to be taught.
Sure.
And it's one of those things of like,
yeah, of course.
So but you're taught empathy, you're taught patience, you're taught all these things.
That's right. But what you're not taught is love. You're not taught to love. I can remember when that was some of the first just absolute natural emotions I had were overwhelming love. In fact, you can see it with children now, today.
Absolutely.
They're innocent and pure and full of love. It's only when they see people fuck their shit up that they get jaded, that they stop loving everybody, that they stop loving the world.
See, that's the innocence of a child is always going to be that. But
why do you think that is?
But then there's an age of accountability.
Age of accountability has, in my opinion, I get that.
And that's when you're no longer under that just kids are innocent.
Not talking about innocence, we're talking about having a soul. Remember?
But
and
that
I believe,
part of it.
And I hear what you're saying. I disagree with you. I think
this
that
is just Joel's dumb weird idea though.
I think we are. You're either born with it or you're not. I think you are either you're chosen to have one and you're born with it and you're worthy of one, or you're just not. That's just my opinion. I think there's, like I said, it's just like the shopkeeper in a video game. When you walk up and he's only got a pre-canned set of lines that he can that's all he can say. That's all he can think. That's all he can do. He's just stuck in this parametered structure of his version of his world, of his life.
Well, that's everyone with their own myopic lens.
No, well, I'm just saying that. Well, I guess. I mean, you can say. Yeah, I guess you can say
it's
that.
It's like everyone only has their own perspective.
But no, my point is that no, there's people that you can talk to that have the capability, like I said earlier, for civil discourse, to actually take in information and make decisions based on analyzing and parsing raw data. That in and of itself delineates, in my opinion, a large swath of the population who are capable, who possibly have souls, and ones who just don't. You know what I'm saying? And
I wouldn't disagree with that.
Yeah, again, it really shows in how a person carries themselves and what they're able to do. If you're unable to functionally have a conversation with somebody without getting angry because that person doesn't agree with everything you're saying,
right?
I don't believe that you have a soul. I don't believe that there's something substantial there, because if you did, there would be a way to acknowledge, there would be some way to acknowledge a difference in an idea, jump outside, break a wall down for a minute, and get outside that.
Yeah.
And you know what? It doesn't need to be in the moment. Sometimes, and I've had my biggest breakthroughs, and had huge, changes in my value systems. Days later, weeks later, after seed has been planted in conversation, and then really think about it, and like, hey, I made this argument, but like what I was saying, I didn't feel that I was making a great argument about it. And then you think and you look into it, but if it's only when you're capable of going inside, of going internal and looking and seeing, did I make a mistake?
Honest with yourself,
yes. And there's too many people out there who think who have the Dunning-Kruger thing going on, who are dumb as fuck, and because they dumb as fuck, they think they're smart as fuck. They think they got it all figured out. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
where the smart people are running around questioning whether everything they're doing is right.
There you go.
But they're doing most things not only right, but way above and beyond what others are doing.
Right.
So it's the geniuses that are constantly questioning themselves, and it's the fucking morons who have the utmost confidence in everything they do. You've heard of this, right? The Dunning-Kruger effect?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, but that's just an example in my opinion, of the soulless. You know what I mean? Of what the parameters are as far as that goes. But we got to get to the end of this, dude.
Yeah.
I got to end this one. We're way past time on this one. But we're gonna come back tomorrow. We got a couple more episodes to do tomorrow. So I'm really stoked to have you come back tomorrow. And if you want, we can jump back into this.
Yeah.
Or we can jump back into some of the other cryptid stuff we were talking about too.
Maybe both.
Just make a mental note where we left off here, and we'll jump right back in. Sound good?
Yeah.
My man. All right. Well, you guys, thank you so much. Thank you so much to Joel David Reed for coming back today. Always love Joel as my co-host. Joel's a fantastic dude. Great. I love our conversations. They just go. You know, I mean, they go so long too. I really wanted to make this a half-hour episode. It's an hour.
It always happens
that
way with us.
We've done 2-hour episodes like that. Like nothing. In fact, I think I'd like to say go check out our episode on my very favorite one. I always reference this one, is the Warren Commission. Go watch our episode on the Warren Commission. It's about an hour and 45 minutes, almost 2 hours long. We go real deep on the Kennedy assassination and what happened afterwards to all the witnesses that had to do with anything about the Kennedy assassination. So it was a great episode. The Manchurian Candidate one was good too. A couple other ones. So guys, I love you guys. And remember, you guys, we are spiritual beings, soulful beings, having a physical experience, not the other way around. Love you guys. My name is Eddie Booz, and this has been Exit the Matrix. Take care, y'all.